Your name is Lee Malmos,
Yeah,
and, okay, you were born in
1937, 3737.
Table Rock?
No, well.
Milford.
I was born in Milford. Grew up in Omaha, but spent my summers at Grandma and Grandpa Morton's, 6 miles south, or 6 miles north of Table Rock. And I was there, started school at Bunker Hill first, and then left and came back in the third and part of the fourth grade, and then moved to Omaha because Dad got out of the service. Came to Grandma and Grandpa's quite often, but anyway, to tell the story of Grandpa and why he drove a 4-up, and farmed with a 4-up, he's coming back with a brand new car in early 40s, late 30s. And a neighbor waved at him as he's turning in the lane that was guarded by 2 big pine trees, and he put Grandma through the windshield. And she had 13 stitches in her neck, had 13 stitches in her neck, and I always ask her where she got her necklace. And she said, Grandpa gave it to me one afternoon coming home. And everything was fine, never touched the wheel of anything. Farmed with a 4-up until 1957 when he died. And that was it. That was the farm, 88 acres. Made a good living, had a great time down there.
What's a 4-up?
4 horses.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 horses. And that's what he farmed with. 2 bottom plow and a 4-up.
After he ripped the car, he wouldn't touch another.
He never touched the wheel of anything that had a motor in it. And Uncle Herman later got tractors, farmed it, and that was his son, and my Uncle Herman, and who I adored, and just taught me everything I needed to know, and some I didn't need to know. But yeah, it was a great time on the farm. Clarence was the youngest of 5, and you know the rest.
But I don't have Clarence on tape, on the video, so can we just go over that again?
Oh,
Clarence is your uncle,
He's
your
my
mom,
uncle.
your mom's brother.
my mom's brother, youngest of 5, and went off to war in 1942, died in a POW camp in the Philippines, basically the same year. And I did not know him well, but I knew who he was, and you know, like
And
I said,
the picture that's here in the Veterans Museum,
was taken when I was 3, so it was taken in 1940.
and who all was in that picture?
Brothers, Herman, brother Lewis, Grandpa was their dad, and my uncle who married my grandpa's sister, and me, and Clarence. Yeah,
And so that picture of Clarence was just excerpted from the larger picture.
yeah, the whole picture was taken in a camera. You remember the old Kodaks that had films in them? Yeah, but yeah, I still got it, and it's good. I can blow it up, send it, or do whatever. But like I say, I've got the flag that draped the coffin, a couple letters that he wrote to Grandma, letters back and forth to the president saying, oh my God, we're so sorry, Emma, which I have no reason to believe that it was written by him, but it was tough times right at the beginning of the war for any president, and it was Roosevelt at the time. And I remember hearing on the radio when he had passed away. I was at the farm, and when he passed away, and you know, everybody was really affected by that because he brought them through tough times.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
And where was the farm?
6 miles north of town.
Okay, in Bunker Hill.
It was Bunker Hill School sat on right across the road from where Grandma and Grandpa lived. And then Bertiskas lived 2 miles down the road towards town. And I think their name was Knitmeyer, lived on north of us. And I knew the boys I can't think of their names now, but the dad's name was Otto. He was the first one that had road gear in his tractor. He went by the house about 18 miles an hour. My uncle just about peed his pants. Herman says he'll never farm with that. It goes too fast. We had steel on a farm all at the time. So, yeah, 1955, Uncle Herman got a 3-bottom plow and a new M, or an M. It wasn't new. And Grandma said, "You had paid how much for that?" And he said, $5,500. She says, "You'll never pay for it." Farmed for 4 years. And the extra that he had made from renting land paid for that. And he farmed with it until he quit. So, yeah.
Now,
Lewis has been gone. Lewis married a Rotman here in town that had the greyhounds. And we used to go there on Sunday, and they had 6 greyhounds that pulled a miniature hay rack. And us kids would get on that, and them hounds would pull us all around the farm. Everything was fine, just pulled us around the farm, and they moved to Berkshire. But anyway, all is gone now. All of the siblings, parents, and the firstborns of all of them are still here. And I'm the oldest of them. I'm 78.
okay.
That's it.
Now tell me about, let's take your dad's family back, because the Mortons,
That's my mom's family.
your mom's family back, because Morton, I think, is the name that goes way back in Table Rock. So your
Yes.
mom was Millie Morton.
Mm-hmm.
Her parents were
Joe and Emma.
Morton. Now, when you came back to Table Rock, where did you play when you were a kid?
In the park and out the farm. Yeah, Saturday night in the park was it when we made it to town. I remember one time I tied my cousin, who at that time was Aunt Marie's son. She had one boy, and
His name was?
Ray Joseph Burkhalter. She married a Burkhalter, and we played at the farm, and we played Cowboys and Indians. I tied him to a post, and Grandma just beat me within an inch of my life, and I had to stay home. Had to stay home from town that Saturday night. I remember that clearly. I might have been 9, 10. Boys playing Cowboys and Indians, and I tied my little cousin to a post in front of the house so everybody could see, and Grandma wouldn't have cared, only I run a loop around his neck when I tied him to the post. He was fine, heads tied, feet tied, went around here, so I just made sure, because I'd seen it on some Roy Rogers movie. And Grandma come out and saw him, caught me, and that beating was not near as hard as the slap I got when I hollered snake when we went to the smokehouse to get meat. I said, "Look out, Grandma, there's a snake!" And she ran about from here to the standpipe, and yeah, it wasn't a pretty night that night either. But she was a sweetheart. 4'11".
I met her, she was just,
Yeah,
she was not very tall.
4'11" is the best she could do.
And she'd probably shrunk by the time I met her.
Yeah.
Even shorter than that.
So they kept their meat in a smokehouse? Did they smoke their own meat then?
No, it was a place to store cobs in the wood for the stove, is all it was. No, they never smoked meat.
Oh, okay.
But they called it that.
Yeah, they called it the old smokehouse because it was, at one time, the people that lived there prior to Grandma and Grandpa moving down the hill did smoke meat there. But they weren't into that. Grandpa wouldn't have a hog on the place. Another funny story. Grandpa died. Grandma, "Okay, fine, Herman, you're doing the farm." Okay? So what'd he do? He goes to town and he gets 6 little piglets, about like so, and made pets out of them. So he'd just go outside and he'd just holler, "See!" And here they'd come, just a hellin', and he'd feed them right off the back porch. One day they went to town. Pigs got in the house. Linoleum floors. Grandma come in the back door and all them little pigs are just standing there, just a-looking, and she says if I'd have screamed, they'd have taken everything out of the house and busted it up, because they then weighed about 125, 130 pounds. If she'd have hollered at them, they'd have made a door where there wasn't one. She told Herman, "That's it, taking them to town." can't do a thing with them, and when they come in the house, they ain't living with me. Now they're awful funny. If you've ever had pigs, you can see you can't drive them. They go where they want to. But that was a funny, funny story when Grandma said, I come in, they was in the living room just kind of wandering around. She said if I'd have hollered, they'd have taken everything. Yeah, she was quite a grandma. And Herman, like I say, he was my prince. We did everything together, swam in the river. We'd walk to the Nemaha and we'd swim in the river and take long walks in the timber, and he'd do anything. Called me the hollered Leroy all the time. Leroy, and I'd say, yeah. He'd say, shut up. He just drove me crazy. Yeah. Leroy, and he'd holler until I answered him. Then he'd tell me, shut up.
And you said he never married?
Never married, no. Lois married, Mom married, everybody married except Herman. And like I say, he asked some girl to marry him. He was 18, 19 years
Clarence
old.
never married either.
No, he didn't live long enough.
Well, no.
So Herman asked somebody to marry him.
Uh-huh. And she laughed at him. That was it. No more girls in his life. And believe me, he was rich enough. I had a good friend that was a banker over in Pawnee. And she says, this ain't the only bank. Herman's got money and to the limit. And the girls would call him, everything. Be very friendly. That was it. Grandma was his girlfriend, and was until she passed away.
And when did she pass away?
It was somewhere in the late 80s. She was 88.
Oh,
and
it wasn't that. We got married in 74.
74.
It would have been in the late 70s.
Would have been late. Oh yeah, late 70s.
She didn't live very long after we were married.
No, she didn't. No, she died in a nursing home in Pawnee City.
And then what about him?
Grandpa passed away in 57, and Herman passed away probably 4 years after Grandma. I went out there, the house is gone, the barn's gone, and at that time, all we did was pick up several rocks out of the yard, and they had pushed the big rocks. We had a wall around there, rocks this big and about that deep, went all the way around, two sides of the house, and the guys that bought it pushed them in the creek. And I love to take one of them back home always. I got several little ones, and the hames off a harness of
They're too
Grandpa's
heavy to
forks.
lift,
Huh?
that's for sure. They're too heavy to lift, that's
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
they weighed a ton. You know how big a rock is. They got them in the park. She had them about that size that's out there,
Yeah.
all the way around the house. Yeah, just stacked.
Yeah.
Got them out of the pasture, everything with the 4-horse. Hook up and a couple straps. My God, talk about working. But I've taken enough time to appreciate it. Yeah, little Leroy about as good as anybody.